Welcome to the Real News Network. I'm Jessica Desvarieux in Baltimore. We're continuing our conversation about the Haitian elections. Now joining us is Èzili Dantò. She's the president of the Haitian Lawyers Leadership Network. And also joining us from Haiti is Nicole Phillips. She's a staff attorney for the Institute for Justice and Democracy in Haiti. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
So we have 54 candidates running for president, and you know, people are talking. We can't talk about all of them, so we're only going to talk about the top candidates and specifically about their platforms. Of course, we have the current president Michel Martelly's party, Tête Calais, but he cannot run according to Haitian law. You cannot serve 2 consecutive terms. So instead, we have Jovenel Moïse, who's representing Martelly's Tête Calais party. You've been there. You're actually currently there on the ground, Nicole. What's the sense of Mr. Moïse's popularity, and can you talk a little bit about his platform?
Sure. You know, one of the things you can tell about candidates here is the amount of campaign posters that are everywhere. And of course, that is a little reflection of popularity, but probably more of a reflection of the amount of money in the campaign. And by far, Moïse has the most campaign posters around. And they're bright colored pink, which is the color for President Martelly and his political party, Tête Calais. You know, I happened to pass by a meeting on last Sunday evening, I believe it was, in the main stadium down in Port-au-Prince that was a rally for Moïse, and there were thousands and thousands of people that were there. He certainly has some kind of popularity. What I sort of hear around, though, is that oftentimes popularity with presidents isn't necessarily a reflection of their political platform, but more a reflection of a perception or even a reality of money flowing out. So, you know, people paying off people to vote, candidates paying off people to vote in one way or the other, giving out T-shirts, giving out bottles of water.
Yes.
You know, Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. You know, so many people live on, 70 to 80% of people live on $2 a day or less. So things to us that might sound trivial are, you know, actually are quite important to others. So it's quite easy to buy off candidates. To buy off voters. And so in terms of political platforms, quite frankly, I think these candidates have been a little bit light on their political platforms. It's not necessarily, there hasn't been a lot of ideology that has been talked about. You know, President Martelly is sort of right of center, and we expect that Moïse would also be right of center, certainly open to business. This has been something that I think was attractive to the U.S. government in the past by President Martelly. What that means is sort of a little bit of lax on environmental regulations. There's a proposed mining law that would open up Haiti to exploration and mining of gold. There's $20 billion worth of gold assets as an estimate. And so you know, American companies or international companies are wanting to get into that. So these types of development, I think, are on the platform for this candidate.
All right. Èzili, I know you are certainly not a fan of the Tête Calais party, their human rights records, rule of law. I mean, the list can go on and on. But as a challenge, there are some that see the Martelly government as being quite friendly to the diaspora, offering up dual citizenship. There's also their fight against hunger, Amba Gangu program, and more of an effort to communicate with Haitians through social media, for example. Do you recognize that there's some progress under the Martelly administration? Absolutely not.
Mr. Martelly's program has hurt the local Haitians. The Haitian diaspora is pretty clueless with regards to what's going on in Haiti. Essentially, we have a situation under Mr. Martelly where there was this idea that Haitians from the diaspora could actually vote. This was a hoax, actually. It was a way for for Martelly to maybe raise money in the diaspora, because essentially, at the end of the day, that law, Mr. Martelly, the only thing that Haitians of the diaspora can do is become mayors. And what Mr. Martelly did was destroy that possibility by basically not appointing all the mayors himself. So I don't know why the Haitian diaspora is so in love with Mr. Mateli, but I think part of it is racism. Part of it is the fact that, you know, he brings out this picture. The United States approves of him. It's sort of this white supremacy, mulatto, lovely. It's okay as long as the white guy loves us. But essentially for the diaspora, he's done the worst thing possible, because the only aid to Haiti, the only direct aid to Haiti, is the $2 billion per year remittances of the diaspora that goes directly into the hands of their family. Mr. Mateli has put together a precedent that is so staggeringly dangerous. He has taxed the diaspora. Now, that means that he has taken every phone call we make. Now, we're already discriminated in terms of compared to other transfers. Haiti pays a lot more than the Dominican Republic, for instance. Haiti pays a lot more to make a phone call to Haiti, costs more than to make a phone call to India. But Mr. Mateli, along with USAID and his bosses at the State Department, came up with a way where they take $1.50 on every transfer we send to our family in Haiti, plus they take 5 cents on every phone call added.
And the guise was that it was going to support education, Èzili. That was sort of the way that they made it passable, or I should say the way the diaspora could swallow taking on such a tax, was that it was supposed to go to public education.
And the record shows the educational level of folks is worse in terms of kids going to school this last September under Mateli. No one knows where those millions of dollars have been. There's no transparency. There's no accountability. We don't know.
Okay.
We're giving our money. I have an office in Haiti. I have a project in Haiti. So every time we spend money, we send money to projects in Haiti, we're being taxed.
Absolutely, absolutely. Nicole, let's talk a little bit about the rule of law. I know your organization works specifically on this issue. Can you talk about the Martelly Tête Calais party record in terms of the rule of law? Have things improved under Martelly's watch?
You know, it's almost like he was consulting on how can he undermine the rule of law from day one in office all the way through to the end, creating more and more of a dictatorship as the years went on. It was so perfectly played. In the beginning, when he came in 2011, he was sort of shut down on journalists. Journalists that people would come to press conferences. He or his staff, his security would take recording devices from journalists that were ransacking radio stations, and people that they didn't want to come into the people that they were trying to retaliate against because they covered something honest about the president. They would exclude them from the presidential palace and wouldn't allow them press accreditations. I mean, really a systematic, deprivation of freedom of press from the very beginning. Then the next phase was cracking down on human rights defenders. Haitian lawyers, Haitian other leaders of human rights organizations were receiving death threats. Somebody that I work with, Mario Joseph, there was an announcement on the radio in September of 2012 by the former prosecutor who had been let go, and said that he would have been let go because the government had asked him to issue a blank arrest warrant for 30 people, including several lawyers, and the conclusion was because of their work as a human rights lawyer. And so many different ones, but sort of resulting in the crisis, the political crisis that we have now, which is that there is no sitting parliament because of President Martelly and his administration's refusal to have elections. The pretext was he would submit names for electoral councils, but for 4 of those proposals for electoral councils, none of them met any constitutional requirements, so they were rejected. As a result, the terms of almost every member of parliament, all local mayors, has termed out. And so the only elected officials you have in the country right now are the president and 10 senators. So it is a political crisis. He is now able to run without any checks and balances at all.
Yes.
He has started issuing some decrees that of course, haven't been passed by Parliament. And so from beginning to end, this has been him trying to get more and more power and rule alone as a dictator.
Èzili, just really briefly, do you see any one of these top candidates presenting a platform that's in stark contrast to the politics of Michel Martelly's party?
The only person, well, yes. What I think your audience has to understand is this is the first time, for instance, that President Jean-Bertrand Aristide's political party is actually allowed in elections. But we at the Haitian leadership actually denounced the fact that President Aristide is endorsing this travesty, especially after the August 9th and especially after what we know about 2010. So essentially, I can tell you a little bit about some of the candidates, but I think to me, as an activist, as someone who has watched this for 30 years, there is Moïse Jean-Charles, who's running for office. He is one of the people amongst that whole group of people who has consistently denounced the UN occupation in Haiti. Consistently, he's gone to Brazil, he's gone to other places to denounce it. So in terms of that, I would say that he's close to being someone who understands about Haiti's sovereignty. Mm-hmm. He's fought Martelly more than anybody else, and bar none, all of Martelly's human rights stuff. So I would think that he has a legitimate connection on the ground. But we are under occupation. We know that no matter what happens, the United States will pick whoever it wants. And actually, it's because of that we denounce the Famille Lavalas party and President Jean-Bertrand Aristide for using his weight to actually give some legitimacy to this travesty.
All right. Èzili Dantò, as well as Nicole Phillips, who's joining us from Haiti. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on the Real News Network.